Welcome to the Extraordinary Culture Podcast. Podcast for the culture that is music, movies, sports, food, and beer. The Extraordinary Culture.
I would not be at Comic-Con right now, I'll tell you that.
There's still people who went to Comic-Con, to believe it or not.
I've seen that.
We're just hanging out outside?
Yeah, there's cosplayers. There's a famous guy. He does I saw him on some panels. He also does some film writing. He was on IGN when it was still around. That Chris Gore is his Instagram handle, and he said I just went to document it, what was going on there. And he said there's a few cosplayers. Everybody got to be first in line for Hall H. I'm like, dude, I remember when I even been waiting in line for Hall H. You just walk right in. But
depending on what you were
not only
that,
but he's just there documenting.
Depending on what you were going to see, like the last time we went to Comic-Con, no, I went last year, but the year before that when I went with George, we basically just walked right into the Kevin Smith panel. It didn't take too long. It had nothing, It's honestly, it's doable. It's doable, but you got to know what you're doing. There's still the people that are full on oh, I'm going to be here overnight for the final in 2 days for Supernatural or whatever. But you can make stuff work, dude. I was looking. I should be at
Conan Funko.
Yeah, I should be at Comic-Con today. I had tickets for yesterday and today, and now I have them for next year anyway, ready to go. But I'm whatever. I'm fine with that. We'll make it work when it's going to happen. It's not a big deal.
Exactly.
I know there's no FOMO because no one's there. Those guys are just hanging out outside. It's not like it's anything. It's the same as go outside and hang out at Kmart. There's no one there.
There's some weird kids hanging out in front of the convention center.
Well, I got a friend who does that, and he covers all those conventions and theme parks and stuff. And he went down because that's his business. He was like, oh, it's different, so we're gonna go show you what it looks like this year and how empty it is. And he's putting up a bunch of pictures from years past and stuff. But that's what he does. So, that's fine. I'm sure they went just, for the day, didn't go. I'm sure there was stuff going on. Yeah, if I was going anywhere, I probably would. Yeah, that might be kind of interesting to see just who heads down there and see what's going on. Nothing, because cool. Nothing's going on. I haven't watched any of the stuff, though. Matter of fact, I missed the Lucha one yesterday. I was going to watch the Lucha one yesterday. They had Rey Mysterio Sr.
It's still on.
I'm sure you can still watch it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's still online, or is it just a one-time thing?
Nah, I'm pretty sure there's all going to be online.
And it's free?
Yeah, everybody, they were just calling it.
It's all on YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, they were going to put it on YouTube and some different sites, and you could just, a bunch of different panels that people were doing just to do them, because it was we can still kind of have the spirit of it. People were sending in photos of their cosplay from home and stuff. But speaking of Lineage, there's a bunch of people who they printed out a sign that said line starts here, or, whatever, doing that kind of stuff, just to get into the spirit of it, because we can't go to the theater, so. That's what that is.
Yeah, I was going to say, it was really cool because if you ever had a Comic-Con ID, which was also good for WonderCon, and I think when they used to do APE, which was Alternative Press Expo, anybody who's ever had a WonderCon ID, or Comic-Con ID, is getting the updates right now. They also let you download digitally their souvenir book, which is 200 pages. They said, this is going to take a lot of ink, so just don't go think you could do it at home. Do it at work or something where you have a really nice printer.
Do it at work.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and steal company assets.
Hey, if you're still working, man, might as well.
God, no, man. There's a shortage of work going around.
Got to get something out of them, man. Got to get something out of them.
Hey, know what also there's a shortage of? Change.
You like that segue, don't you?
Yeah. So,
dude, that's nuts.
I didn't think about it. I'm like, what the fuck? He goes, oh, yeah, because they're not making as much change and people are not. And I'm like, but it's fucking pennies and fucking quarters. What the fuck?
Either people throw them away. They put them in a big old jar.
And you got to think about the point too. And this is coming from someone working retail.
Hold on. Put this in the camera. This ain't weed.
And it's hold it up, man.
You don't have one of those old school Vegas buckets to put it in?
I did, man. I got rid of that.
But coming from the wife who works retail, a lot of it comes from the idea that it's dirty. People aren't using it because it's dirty.
Yeah, well, I heard too that the official reason given was, or actually I read because I was like, "What is this?" When I first saw a sign, printing it is a thing too because they don't have as many people in there printing it. So and
they're shut down, no? Or
I
are
don't
they
think
still
they're
running?
shut down, but I don't think they're running at full capacity, which is probably quite a bit because I'm sure it's a factory that has to deal with all kinds of machinery and presses and things like that. I totally lost my train of thought, man. It's gone.
I was told by one of my friends and clients. He works for a credit union. He said they have laundromat facilities. Go in there 3 times a week and get change, and now they can't, or they're restricting them to only once a week you can pick up change. So they're all screwed right now. A lot of these laundromats they're all pissed off right now because they can't get to their change.
Oh yeah, even Alicia's saying when the retail stores go to get it, they can get a roll of everything.
Hold on a second. Dan, are you there still?
Yeah.
Okay, he's because your video froze.
Oh, okay.
No, he just stopped talking and didn't move.
Oh, there he is. Oh, and he froze again. I'm going to keep that picture, and I'm going to put so many things in his mouth.
But yeah, they were all allowing retail to go get one roll of everything. And how do you run a store off of that? So yeah.
Well, Stater Brothers, I saw was they basically take your change. If you had change, they were saying, we'll take it. We'll take your change and we'll exchange it out for you with basically undercutting the Coinstar machines. They weren't going to take any kind of fee for that. We'll just take it. I should go turn this in, for real. I have this. This is all quarters actually. I'm looking at it. Whatever. Yeah, but people literally throw this stuff away. Where was I at? A McDonald's? I think I was at a McDonald's, and somebody had said, put up a sign, we have no change right now. Sorry for the inconvenient. And I was like, inconvenient? Some street toughs hanging around here, or what? They're being inconvenient? Okay. I mean, mess with the word, but yeah.
What's funny is,
go ahead.
I went to Stater Brothers and somebody was asking for change. I'm like, dude, nobody carries change right now.
Nope.
Yeah, no. Hey, so what's up with this? Go ahead.
I'm surprised nobody's tried to push into a round up the change and do something for relief, some sort of relief or charitable donations with that. Go, hey, you got 62 cents. Do you want to round that up to an even dollar and we'll throw that to some sort of charity or some sort of relief?
I'm sure somebody
that would be the logical thing.
I'm sure somebody is, but on a big chain store like a grocery store, it's kind of hard to keep track of. You imagine it's a little bit hard to keep track of. And then you got all the people saying
they're not looking to help anybody else other than get their own change for their own registers.
Yeah. And so you got all the people who are like, see what happens when you try to go to a cashless society? See what happens when you try to go to a cashless society? It can't happen. Because between that and the Bank of Americas, have you guys heard about the Bank of Americas?
Oh, yeah.
So, Dan, you have a little bit of experience. Is that unemployment stuff on a Bank of America card? Because that's the story I heard.
A Bank of America debit card.
There you go.
So, what's happened from what I was told, everybody's using those debit cards and they're just trying to pull the money out right then and there. I've seen lines wrapped around the one on 6th Street?
Yeah.
The Bank of America over there. The line's freaking wrapped all around the building.
Now let's be clear. That line is still social distance, so it probably appears longer than it actually is.
Yeah, it could be.
But it's still 30, 40 people.
Yeah. That's still a lot of people, but everything appears longer than it is because everybody's a good distance apart.
Yeah, but I keep hearing ATMs are running out of money. I think there's only one Bank of America that's open in this area. There's 5 of them? 4 or 5 of them?
I think they were intermittently.
I don't even know how many there are.
I think they were intermittently shutting them because it was they couldn't keep up. If an ATM runs out of money, well, you shut down the ATM. You can't do anything. You limit your hours for a branch because it's everybody's trying to take it out of a Bank of America. Because I haven't had that problem at Wells Fargo,
But I've never had that problem at Altura.
A month ago, I went to my credit union and I withdrew $1,000. So and I got it in 20s, so it's not that critical.
No, it just so happens to be the run on Bank of America because that's where the debit card is cut from. Everybody's trying to do that. So yeah, no, that lends more the reason I even brought that up is because that's more to the people that are like, oh, well, this cashless society won't work. And I was like, have you ever known anybody to carry a bunch of cash like that? I mean, I know. Okay, you just said you took out $1,000. Do you always have $1,000 on you, or is that just a one time?
Oh no,
you took it out
that was
for a reason.
Car repair.
Yeah, you took it out for
Yeah,
some kind of
that was
reason.
a car repair.
Yeah. I mean, so like.
Yeah,
See, I didn't even do
makes
that.
sense.
All I did was transfer it from one account to another, or when Alicia was doing unemployment, we transferred it from the unemployment debit card to the regular account. We didn't have to pull it.
How did you do that?
There was instructions with the card, with the Bank of America card. I can see if I can pull them up if you need to do it.
No.
Yeah.
Generally, what I just do is I just go to the bank and I just transfer it. They'll do a free transfer. I'll just tell them, hey, take this amount, put it into my checking account or my savings account or whatever, and they're like, okay.
Yeah, we never had a problem doing it. Literally, Alicia would be sitting on the couch and she'd transfer and say, okay, it's transferred over.
I do that from my bank to my credit union. I transfer money from my bank to my credit union, and if you think about it, it's nothing any different than like Zelle would be. Because even Zelle's
not at all.
bank to bank. So, I mean, I just didn't know that many people actually carried that much cash on them.
Well, it's not that they carry the cash. They're trying to get all that money out all at once. And Bank of America upped the credit limits. So, I mean, maybe they don't think that they can just transfer that at their banks. Maybe they don't have banks. How many of those people do you
actually,
recognize?
I was thinking that's probably part of the
A few
reason.
people who don't.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the friends I know that's on unemployment says, like, I got to put my money in a hole. I'm like, dude, don't you have, like, a bank account? You could earn, like, 2% interest on it.
And the answer was no.
That would be a negatory.
Yeah. And I guess people exist like that, but that's not how we handle stuff. So
That's not the majority.
yeah, I don't think it is. But then again, too, a lot of Hispanics actually they don't. You talk to a lot of these kids, you're like, oh, wait, they've got this money. Don't you have a bank account? No. We need to go bank.
The guy. How many people go to the liquor store on Friday and cash their check?
Yeah, that's true. I guess if it's a paycheck to paycheck thing, you're kind of used to that. So it's just not. I don't know about that stuff because that's not how I live.
Real quickly, how much money do you guys have in your wallets right now? How much cash you guys have in your wallets? I'm just curious.
In my wallet, I don't have any cash, but on me here at the house, I have almost a couple $1,000s.
Yeah. Because I have about $30 in cash, and I keep $10 I get into my car in case I need it, just in case something happens, because that's at least like a tank of gas to get home for most places in the greater LA area.
Oh yeah, I've got less than $20 I keep on me most times.
Yeah, I got like $30 in my wallet, and that's been there for like a month.
The good thing about being a barber is, generally barbers always have cash on them. There was a point in time where I really had like no less than a couple $100s in my wallet, and so I actually do carry cash, and I tip big when I go out, so I always try to make sure I have cash on me. But for the most part, I do use my card. I do use Google Wallet. I do use like Zelle. If I'm gonna send somebody money, I'll use PayPal. I see both sides of the argument for cashless society. I also see the argument for, cash is always going to be king. You always have cash on you, at some point in time, even if it's $20, even if it's $30,
So here's the thing. I have some old silver quarters that my grandparents gave me. So they're pre-65 quarters, are all made out of silver. My brother wanted to trade them. I go, no, we don't trade those. I go, why? I go, that's in case there's over a zombie apocalypse and people don't have money anymore. We have real currency that's worth something. It's real silver. It's
yeah.
Or you can take a vampire out with it too, or a werewolf.
If I have to.
Yeah, you take a werewolf out.
Werewolf.
Yeah.
I have the
nice
to melt it
slingshot.
Werewolf.
Wolfman's got nards.
I was waiting for that.
Somebody had to say it. It had to be said.
Exactly. All right, man. Hey, so did you guys see? I know we've talked about Black Lives Matter. We've talked about George Floyd in the past. We've talked about a ton of these things. But you see these country artists now that are slowly changing their names to separate from the racial undertones.
Yeah.
Some chicks.
They've been on the fence with that for a long time, though. I feel they've been that way since W. Bush was in office. They were kind of against him.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been progressive and leading towards that change for a long time. I do admire the fact, though, that they went ahead and they knew there was another band called the Chicks, and they reached out to them and got permission to use the name. So that was pretty commendable. Unlike another group, right? X.
Yeah. So Lady Antebellum, who's now Lady A, the band, didn't do that. And there's a Lady A who's, I believe her name is Anita White, and she's like, no, don't. I'm Lady A. You can't be using that. So they reached out to her, and they tried to do something. And what happened was, she said, like, I want $10 million. I want $5 million to rebrand, and $5 million is going to go to charity. That way it's to make you look good. And she just kept this private. She didn't say anything till after. So, like, we tried to talk with Lady A, the artist, and she doesn't want to work with us. So forget her. We're just going to go by using this name. Now, when we came up with this podcast, we Googled, like, said, oh, okay, what names do you want to use? It's taken. And we don't have no, like, fancy search engines or, like, you know, like those crazy fiber optic lines or have anything like look in the dark web. We just looked on our own, couldn't find anything, and we found a name that fits what we wanted to do and used it. So I don't know what's going on with these people. Like, there's a thing called Google now where you can look up everything at the touch of your fingers.
Yep. It's got a ton of shit there.
Or maybe just thinking that because of their name and who they are, there wouldn't really be much resistance, or people would be on their side, maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, that's true.
I'm trying to go back to the article. Remember
okay.
how long Anita White's been performing and things though too.
She's been, like, performing at least a good 20, 30 years, I want to say.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow. As what, a blues singer?
Yeah, she's a blues singer.
That's very much we can do it because we can. That sucks. Maybe we should be punks wrestling then. No, I'm teasing. Shout out to Remy and Tawny. They do good shit. Is it break time?
Yeah, we'll take a quick break.
Let's take a break.
Just when you think 2020 couldn't get any worse, we enter another layer of hell as we had quite a few of some of our favorite celebrities pass away in the last couple weeks here.
Man, they're starting to drop like flies.
It's out of control. So,
Thank you, Regis.
Regis Philbin passed away. He was 88 years old, and he's mostly known for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Yeah,
yes.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
I thought it was Regis and Kelly.
And Regis and Kathy Lee also.
Regis and Kathy Lee.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Now, if you're my age and you go back to the Stone Age in the early TV with the rabbit ears, you'll remember him on AM Los Angeles with Cindy Garvey.
No one's your age.
I remember that because I used to watch that with my mom, and I remember the Dodgers being in the World Series, and he's asking Cindy Garvey, "Hey, so Cindy, can you give me some tickets or what? I want to go see the Dodgers win the World Series."
Didn't he take some wrestling moves from John Cena or The Rock or somebody too?
He's taking wrestling moves from everybody.
I think that was part of his shtick, right? Let me talk.
Yeah, in the mid-late 90s, man, everybody did Regis.
And gave him a move.
You know, whether it be Hulk Hogan, Kurt Angle, Shawn Michaels, Rock, Austin, everybody did it.
Rick Rude was on there with Bobby Heenan.
Oh, wow.
Did he show the ladies what they came for?
Jake the Snake's wife, maybe.
And then by the time he had the millionaire fame, man, his suit game had been upped. So I know that became kind of the popular craze for a while too, is having those Regis style suits.
Yeah.
Shirt and tie combo was always pretty on point.
The dark shirt with the dark tie matching it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The monochrome look.
Yeah. So, you know, he played an important part of pop culture. Another one that did too was Grant Imahara. That one hit hard, man. You know, he's such an awesome character, whether it be from Mythbusters or just being one of the quintessential nerds, man, into everything, into all the pop culture stuff. And what was it? Aneurysm?
Oh, was it?
Brain aneurysm.
Yeah.
And not only that, he was also in part of ILM. So he was doing like sets for Star Wars when they're still when the prequels were still doing practical effects.
Yeah, that's where Mythbusters got him from.
Yeah,
he was
because
working at ILM at the time. So he was in the White Rabbit project, which I hadn't watched, but I was always piqued my interest. Something similar to Mythbusters.
Yeah, that's sad. That so it was listed, but it was listed as a COVID-related death, right? But it was a brain aneurysm. Is that how he died? I thought that I saw that he died from a brain aneurysm.
Yeah, I have it as a brain aneurysm, not as nothing COVID-related.
When he first died, I saw an article that said he died from COVID. I was
think
like, you
right now,
sons of bitches.
Anybody that's going on, that's the first thing that they look at. Because everybody that goes in gets tested.
Right.
So, I mean, might have been that. You know who's in the hospital? Biz Markie, man.
Is he really?
Yeah. He's in the hospital. Diabetes.
You got what I need.
I hope that.
See, guys.
Diabetes. I hope they got what he needs there, man. We can't lose Biz Markie, bro.
Yeah, man. He's had it rough for a few years now.
Yeah, he has. But that's an icon, dude.
Tough.
That's an icon.
Yeah, he is.
Anybody goes, you just start off, you, and everybody chimes in. You got what I. That's one of those songs just like everybody knows it, no matter what age you are. You'd be like, yeah, I know that song.
And that aside, man, he had his hand in music besides that. He was just he had a lot of creative voice in things, and then he did Yo Gabba Gabba, and he had that scene, so you kind of got a revival of what was going on. So, man, yeah, that's another rough one.
You know who shouted it out today? Was Eric Dan Everlast shouted it out today. Yeah, on his IG page, shouted out. I hope you get well, brother, because he was
Yeah,
he went up to Everlast and said something to him. Oh man, you got stuff going on. Like congratulate. Like he's like, I got a lot of respect for that from the early days. So he's like, I got a lot of respect for that guy.
That's fun.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Biz was really good friends with the Beastie Boys, and even though like they wouldn't see him, like he would go into the studio with a bag of candy, share it with everybody. He'd get bored, make his own mixtape, and then jam. And then they wouldn't see him for like 4 or 5 years, and like, hey, what's up, Biz? You're supposed to do this. He's all, oh shit, yeah, I was. And then like they just dropped it like nothing ever happened. But he was like really good friends with the Beastie Boys for a long time. There's even a song they did, and I want to say it's on Check Your Head, called the Biz versus the Nuge, about like Biz Markie versus Ted Nugent.
Yeah, hey, he just seems like the type of dude like he just would get along with everybody. You know what I mean?
That he does.
Like a positive,
Yeah.
just a positive guy that like everybody would just get along with. That. What's Biz? Oh man, Biz, yeah, that dude's cool. Yeah, that's cool though. I hope he gets better.
Best wishes to him, man.
You know what? Remember that video that he had? Well, everybody remembers the video. Remember he had that little wig on, like the dudes from Hamilton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The powdered wig.
Yeah, yep. That powdered wig. Like, did you guys watch Hamilton?
No,
Yes,
I
I
still
did.
haven't watched it.
I did actually.
Just once.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
once.
How was it?
You know what? It actually wasn't bad. I'm not gonna go and be like, I'm watching that every week. It was entertaining. I was actually, painting Matthew's room. I was painting his room when I put it on his TV, and I was listening to it, and then I found myself at times stopping to actually watch it because the acting is actually really good in it. Like there's like the Washington, the character of Washington, and the character of the king are done. Like their actors. The king actually is it's Kristoff from Frozen. That's who that guy is. Yeah, it's done really well. The music, like at first I was like, I don't know, man, but then like you just realize you just take it for what it is. And I was talking to Diggs, and he had asked me, "Did you watch it?" I'm like, "No, I'll get to it eventually." And he's like, "Well, the music's pretty good. I get like an Eminem D12 kind of vibe to the way the music is, and some of the you look at it and you're like, yeah, okay, I can kind of see that. It's it was good. I'm not gonna watch it every week, dude, but I thought it was good. It's a lot though. You got to watch it with the subtitles on because remember, as they're singing,
definitely.
they're telling you the story of Hamilton. It's definitely a biography. And it covers a lot of history.
Based on a book. Yeah.
Yeah, it covers a lot of history. So it's a recommended watch. I don't know that I'd watch it again, but I would tell people, yeah, you need to check it out. Totally.
I thought the music was catchy. I enjoyed it. I prefer the mixtape because that's done by other artists, and I shared that on our IG page with the Saturday Spin couple 4th of July weekend. I thought, like I said, it was done well, catchy. The nice thing what Disney Plus also did, they also did a documentary about Hamilton. I haven't watched that one yet, but that way you watch the movie, then you could have watched about the more of a true life story. And recently, the History Channel, just because of their feed, it popped up again that their biography they had on Alexander Hamilton.
Who isn't a guy who gets a lot of, he was involved in a lot, but he's not really a guy that gets a lot of press, so to speak.
A lot of play.
Yeah, he doesn't get a lot of play with a bunch of stuff. You just kind of hear like, oh, he's the Secretary of State, does all this stuff, the banks, and then he was shot by Aaron Burr, and that's pretty much like all you get out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Get that from the milk commercial and.
Yeah, I didn't even know that he was like basically Washington's right-hand man. I had no idea about that. I was like, oh crap, like
I didn't either
too. Yeah, so that was kind of cool to know like, oh, we know some of this stuff because we read about it and studied it, but I didn't know that. So that's kind of cool.
And I think that's why one of the reasons I enjoyed it a lot more is I was catching on to that, and that was one of my emphasis when I was getting my degree was the American Revolution history, and I didn't learn a lot about Hamilton, but understanding and being the 5th grade teacher, I do teach American Revolution, so they talk about Lafayette and how powerful and prominent Lafayette was, and I'm like, I know Lafayette, and I've seen the statue in D.C. and that stuff, so it was hitting me there, and it is catchy. It is so fast though. The beginning of it, the first about 45 minutes of it is just so quick paced that, like you were saying, if you don't have the subtitles on and you don't know the general idea of the revolution, that it goes by in a blur. And you're like, wait, I'm trying to catch up. And as it slows down and it gets more into the later part of his life, it's a little bit easier to follow, a little bit easier to get into that. And when they get to the duel and pieces like that, the music, again, I thought it was fantastic. It's modern rap. It's not the rap we grew up on. It's definitely not Young MC.
Or Biz Markie.
Or Biz Markie, shout out one more time. But it's done super well, and it's not done in a way that's alienating anybody. So you don't have to be a fan of rap or hip hop to be able to listen to this and be like, that is definitely, catchy. So it's definitely worth a watch. I would watch it again. I'd watch it again, definitely.
I
not
think
so that I watch
might,
all the
but
time.
yeah, exactly. I'm not going to watch it all the time. It's not going to be a repeated thing. It'd be like, hey, I got through it once and thought it was good. Let me watch it again to catch some stuff maybe I didn't catch. or because I was kind of doing something else at the time. And then, just take it from
It's
there.
one of those things I would establish like a yearly viewing for, like, okay, it's Memorial Day weekend, or it's, I'd be stupid and be like, okay, April 15th, Lexington and Concord type day, I'm going to watch Hamilton. Because I'm that kind of nerd. I'd do that, and I'd do it yearly like that.
Well, remember too, it's pretty long. It's like 2 hours and 45 minutes
long.
long.
It's about 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
it's over 2.5
about
hours.
2.5, a little over.
Yeah. So it's a long film. I mean, it goes by. It even has like that slight intermission, like 30-second intermission or 1 minute or something. That was kind of funny.
That's for you to
Those
put
few
on
minutes.
pause.
There's an intermission in it?
Because
Yeah,
there would be an intermission. It was a live performance that was filmed. So as a live performance, it would have had an intermission of about 20 minutes, 25, something like that. 30 minutes maybe.
Uh-huh.
They cut it down to like 3.
Well, yeah, but an actual live show would have
a
about
20-minute intermission.
But a 20-minute intermission. You go take a piss real quick and come back.
Get your M&Ms and you eat them in the lobby before you sit back down.
Yeah, because you can't take them in the theater.
Yeah.
In the old days, movies used to have intermissions, and they'd have a special card that said intermission on them. And I asked my dad, I go, what's going on? He goes, oh, the movie's so long, they got to switch the reels. And I didn't know they just had an automatic thing to switch reels, but you're a dumb kid, you can believe what your parents tell you.
I think that was just a thing. Well, remember, too, there's the days where movies were 60, 70 minutes long. Tops. That was a long movie. Because some of the Universal ones are only about that long. A little over an hour. The horror ones.
What did we watch recently that was that long? Oh, we watched Velocipaster. That was only 70 minutes.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Wow.
If you haven't watched that, you got to watch it. It's so terrible. It's so good.
Like Sharknado?
It's worse than Sharknado.
Hey, man, tell Chris that those divers can't go in there, dude. This isn't the year. You see that little shit she posted? They're exploring this. No, this isn't the year.
The blue hole.
What did she post?
She posted something about a hole,
It's called the blue hole.
The blue hole, yeah, down deep, that they were going to go in and explore that. And I posted on like, this ain't the year. Like, you just don't do that shit, because you never know what's going. Even the murder hornets were like, hey, y'all busy, we'll come back. Like, so I took a break and we're like, we'll hit you back when there's nothing else going on. It was like, okay. Guess
Be the Planet of the Apes right there. It's Planet of the Sharks.
What's that?
Yeah.
Could be Planet of the Sharks happening.
Yeah, I miss those animal type movies. I do actually enjoy those animals gone wild. But you know what? Speaking of animals, Animal Kingdom is open now too. See, I got another second.
That is.
Yeah. Walt Disney World.
Oh,
It went and reopened.
Disney World. Has anybody ever seen anybody influencers who've been to any of the Disney parks?
Man,
yeah, weren't they getting sick right off the bat or something like that?
No, some other ones were. I saw Adam the Woo, and he used to be in Gutter Math as a bassist. He's not that important, other than he's more important for his Disney.
Wait,
he's there. He went there for opening day.
That's who Adam the Woo is? He was the bassist of Guttermouth?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. One of my friends who actually I've been talking to a bit about Disney World, because she spends her quarantine time watching the vloggers from over there, and is basically my fill-in for stuff over there. Just posted something today about Adam the Woo. I didn't know he was a dude in a punk band. I'm gonna go comment that shit on her post now. I'm gonna look that up. That is funny.
Yeah. That's how him and Justin Scard know each other from punk bands.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Hey, have you been paying attention to the opening? Normally I wouldn't pay attention to Walt Disney World. # not my park. But I've been keeping an eye on what's going on just to see what's going to end up going down here. And they're changing almost daily their regulations for stuff. Yeah.
I keep hearing about stuff changing.
And you have to, dude. You have to, as it becomes an issue with something, or to maintain cleanliness or to maintain order. You have 100%. You have to. People looking for those loopholes. It's something as simple as, the two of them that were the neck gaiters. You can't just wear a neck gaiter anymore. It has to cover the mouth and go underneath the chin and have ear straps. It's got that, and then they were letting people, you could walk around without a mask if you had a drink or you were drinking or eating. They put it into that shit real quick too. They're like, no, if you're eating and drinking, you have to be stationary. You can't be walking around with that, because people are just walking around with a cup, just, I got a drink,
Or a turkey leg.
Yeah, stupid shit. So they do that. And there are spots you can go to take off your mask. Everybody has them. A spot where you can go and it's like, okay, in here we've got tables set up and they're definitely they're all spaced out. So if you want to come in here, take a break, take your mask down, you can do that in this place. So honestly, I think that's fair enough. But all the rides seem to be like pretty decent times. But Florida's freaking crazy.
There's only one ride
anyway. What's that? Oh, at Animal Kingdom?
There's only one ride at Disneyland, in period.
What ride is that?
Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Oh. All the attractions.
There you go.
Yeah,
I'm surprised you said that.
And Rick, I wanted to let you know that Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is no longer open at the Magic Kingdom.
You're right. Huh? So
There's
there's
You
zero
gotta wait
rides
for
there.
Winnie the Pooh.
Space Mountain's been closed down for a while. And that's because Fifi's got the Rona.
Woo!
So that's what's going on there. I think it's interesting. Like, she keeps me like on top of all that information. It's like, just watching these guys to see what they do. Most of it seems like it's going okay. I'm sure you got some people taking advantage of stuff. When it opens here, dude, I don't think we're gonna open here soon. Anyway, this is definitely not Florida, as far as that is concerned. But
No.
I think they're trying to maintain standards, which is good. They're trying to maintain it.
No timetable on anything backstage happening, from what I keep hearing.
Because there's nothing from the governor. Like, remember originally the thing had said we'll export again after the 4th, and then right after the 4th, hey, guess what? We're rolling back because y'all didn't listen. So it ain't gonna be one of those spots. And Orange County is fast becoming another Riverside. Honestly,
It's surpassing Riverside in the pace that it's going.
so it's not gonna do that. Dude, here to reopen schools, it has to be 14 days of basically, well, I'll say declining cases, but it's a little bit more complicated than that. It has to be 14 days consecutively within the metric, which means cases do have to come down. But we haven't even had one, so
Yeah.
they're not gonna happen anytime soon. I would be surprised if we're back in.
Union has told us
before
to not expect anything until at least September 8th.
Yeah,
And then
that's
that's-
kind
That
of
would
what
be the soonest, and even that is wishful thinking.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't see that. Honestly, I would be surprised if we are in there this semester. Honestly, because once flu season hits, you're going to be looking at everybody that's sniffling like, what is that? What you got? It's just kind of weird. So, anyway, but Shanghai ended up closing again too.
Yeah, they're open for about, a month and a half?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Stuff was going there pretty smooth, but they shut because cases went up in the country, right? Nowhere near what we've got.
Yes.
Nowhere near what we have here, but do we have any timetable for them opening? I haven't really looked at Shanghai too much. Again, hashtag not my park.
No, it's not my park, like you said.
So just have to keep an eye. I still think we're quite a ways away. We're looking at
nothing's
now.
opening.
Yeah, we're looking at now. My pass being good until February. I think we're almost there. I think my pass expires in like 2 weeks, if that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I can't do yet though? I can't figure out my driver's license. It expires Thursday. I have to go in because it's been 2 renewals online or by mail, and they want to take my picture and check my eyesight, and I can't get an appointment.
Are they even open still?
Yeah, they are, but they're taking old appointments from before. So the current extension for driver's license goes through July 31st. Yeah, that worked for me. One day. So I'm sure this week I'll hear something, or just not. Honestly, I'm just kind of not worried about it.
You're gonna end up having to call the DMV.
Yeah, I thought about that. I might do that this week and be like, what am I supposed to do? Because I was gonna get a real ID.
Put it on speaker and do whatever you got to do.
I was gonna get a real ID because I figured I have to renew it anyway. Let me just go ahead and get the real ID, but I can't make an appointment. And it says somebody else had told me, they ended up sending me something that said, you can just renew again by mail. But I haven't gotten that, and I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So I might have to. The links on the DMV website are not very helpful.
They're very generic.
They're very generic, and they all lead back to each other. Like it's like, you end up back on the same page you started on.
I ended up just having to take a day. I mean, this was pre-Rona, of course, but I ended up having to take a day and just go there, and I was in within about an hour. They saw me even as a standby, but I was there at opening.
Oh, man, well, I'll do that if I have to, but I'm.
What about going to BFE, some far out DMV office.
I still
Word on
got
the
to
street
deal.
is the one to do that is Barstow.
Woo!
I know one, and I'll tell everybody off the air because I don't want everybody going there, okay? But I'll let you guys know. I know a back door for the DMV. And it's not
Xavier
too
always
far.
knows the back door. Heyo.
Hi-yo.
Heyo. Dude, so Disney's pushing back Mulan, Star Wars, and Avatar?
Yeah. Mulan indefinitely at this point.
And they don't want to piss off the Chinese government now either.
No.
You're gonna throw Mickey in jail.
There's
Put him in the
still
concentration camp.
not everything's still up in the air.
Well, they know they're going to make money with that movie too. That movie's going to make money if they were to release it in the theaters.
Yeah, I think that's the point. Is they don't want to go the Hamilton route or the that particular straight Disney Plus or video on demand because it can make that bank.
Yeah, that's going to be, that's going to make hundreds of millions of dollars easy, because because it's a person of color, because it is a beloved movie, because it's a female lead. That just has everything written that says this is a blockbuster. I understand that.
So admittedly, I'm gonna miss the songs.
Yeah. He wants to hear a girl worth fighting for.
I want to hear "Let's Get Down to Business."
Oh yeah. That does have some good tunes.
What is it? I'll make a man out of you. Is that what it's
I'll
called?
make a man out of you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that wouldn't be in this day and age. That's not making it in the movie, dude.
And I think with the Star Wars films, because I know the plan with Star Wars was to wait for the Marvel new phase to finish up. So
Right.
I think they're just gonna we know we're gonna have to delay these, so that's just gonna get pushed back.
Mm-hmm.
And the new Star Wars film, I don't even think they're in the writing stage yet, to be honest with you. They just probably outline maybe a treatment of what they want to do. Avatar, I really don't give a fuck. I watched that movie once.
I'm telling you, who likes Avatar that much?
I've only seen it once too.
I haven't even seen it.
I heard the land is good. The land is like really cool, but like I
I've
don't
heard
know
that too.
anybody that it's like, oh my god, Avatar. It was like, yeah, it was a 3D thing, and the CGI when it came out. When did that freaking movie came out? By the time these movies come out, it's gonna be sequels.
When did it come out?
Freaking
2008?
like, I think earlier than that, bro. I think I watched it
I
here
wish
in
there was
the
a
house
database for internet movies.
after I got married. Like, that's when I saw it. I remember
When did
watching it
Avatar
here in my
come
house
out?
after I got married.
2009, December 18th, 2009.
Okay, so yeah, that's ridiculous. That's a long time. I mean, whatever. I'll go watch the Star Wars movies that are whatever. But
Hey,
I just
real
don't
quickly.
I don't see the love for Avatar.
This is not gonna make it, but hey, for the next podcast, or maybe if we do like a supplemental podcast, let's all watch Avatar before, and then we'll talk about like what we liked and what we didn't like about it, just for shits and giggles.
When
I was
those
thinking
when
about we
those
could do
movies come
that.
out?
No, when just the old one that's already out, because we all have Disney Plus. It's on there.
Oh yeah.
We just watch it and review it. We could do that for just shits and giggles as like a supplementary podcast. I was thinking about that the other day. Like, hey, let's start watch like a really bad film or watch a classic film and just go over and like review it again.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea.
No, yeah.
Pretty cool.
You know, you could also do like a watch along or something like that. You could,
Like a watch party.
yeah,
Hey,
almost like a watch party style.
I actually just saw that there is an app you can down a Disney Watch Party. There actually is an app for that. You can actually do that.
Oh,
You
very
can,
cool.
it's on a computer. You download the thing, and then like the Netflix Watch Party, they have one for Disney Plus. You can actually do that too. I just saw that. I was like, oh, that's actually kind of cool. So that's always
Oh, we're gonna have to get in on that and watch some Star Wars.
Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars.
That's literally all I've done today is sat there and the trilogy was on the original trilogy was on TNT.
Oh yeah, I watched some of them last night.
So I watched it all morning.
I forgot about
I turned it off during Solo though. I was actually getting into it. I'm like, God damn, I gotta go record the podcast.
it. There's not a movie there I don't like. I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you that I didn't. I kind of didn't like Avatar. It was okay. I don't think it was the best movie. I don't know why it's so like. Oh my god! I'm like, okay, it was a movie. I watched it. It was all right. Next. Okay.
James Cameron. The only James Cameron I like is Terminator.
Yeah. I'll be back. That's the shit, man.
It is.
Halloween is canceled.
Basically, they're going to cancel Halloween. They've already canceled Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah.
I mean, do you really feel safe with your kids getting candy from strangers and knowing that there's a virus going around?
I got a 5-pack of Lysol.
If it's yeah, man, as long as it's like individually wrapped, you're not talking like Tootsie Pops and Reese's peanut butter cups, the little minis that are just the foil you get them in.
This year we're normalizing Halloween baskets. We're gonna hand those bad boys out. That's an idea. Put some different stuff in there.
Or you go to the everybody's gonna be teal pumpkin this year.
Yeah. No, the whole thing of it is, it's just, again, honestly, you're too close to it to think that in 2 months we're gonna have that many people together. That's why. That's the reason behind it. You just can't. There's no point right now that you can have that many people together that would go to a horror.
I understand.
Nights. Yeah, especially in those lines, like the way they have to process people through those lines. There's no way. So no.
And you got to also remember, Universal is just playing it safe. I mean, because they have to start planning out right now to set up for Halloween.
They need to be hiring like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's legitimately the way that works is, and I've seen it from Knott's, from the way that my friend, when I told you about that covers that stuff, it's legitimately like, okay, it's done, it's closed. The next week, okay, what are we doing next year? You have to plan it out that far in advance.
Yeah.
This isn't anything. Especially, like Universal, which is because of all the makeup and what they're known for being a movie studio. No. This is not anything like I guarantee you they already had stuff planned. They already had stuff planned and knew what they were going to do. Yeah. And the stuff that was there. And instead, like everything else, it just is going to get pushed back a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Again, so you have.
I mean, right now is the time.
Built.
Yeah.
No, but right now is the time where you could stop it and not have anything like full motion, like say, oh, well, fuck it, we can't do anything now. They're saving you money, basically, is what it is, because it's a time to stop it. Yeah, there's some things built, but it's not as crazy as, like, say in September, they've already started putting the sets up. They started already closing rides down, and then they can't go back.
Right. And then just the fact it's easier to cancel it now than to keep holding off and people start buying tickets, then you got to process refunds. There's that measure too.
Knott's hasn't canceled yet, have they?
I don't think they have.
Knott's is actually open.
Well, yeah, they're open, but the rides, there's no rides that are open. Like
No.
they're doing the
open
Boysenberry
for
Festival right
dining,
now.
and Ghost Town is the only area that's open, I believe.
It's the Calico. What is it called, Rick? Calico Days or
Something like
that. It's basically just food. It's like a food fest. It's not the Boysenberry Fest. It's a food fest in Calico. That's open. You could just walk you through there and do that. The complaint I haven't know if it's gotten any better or not. The complaint there was that it wasn't bad. People were social distancing and doing what they were supposed to, but some of the waits for food was like 30-40 minutes for food.
Oh snap!
Which honestly, Knott's has never handled food getting it quick. Like that's never been. Every time I go to Knott's, I've gone to Knott's and ordered food. It is not a quick process. But it seems to be a hit. It's so much that they extended it actually. So I mean, good for them. They're making some money, in this time. Just like Disney by opening Downtown Disney. You just make money how you can.
They're not even charging for parking, I heard.
Yeah, why would you? I mean, I'd rather, not charge money for parking and have everybody go in and, get something to eat. You put some people back to work. All those shops there, I think, are open now. Although the shops outside by the chicken place, I think all that stuff's open now too. So you can go in there and, do some shopping and all that kind of stuff. Basically, I think the mandate is anything that has its own entrance and exit to an outside area can be open. I think that's actually what it minus Dan's barbershop. Because I dropped off, I did an Amazon return at Kohl's today and they were open. When the last time it was, they weren't. It's just, I think it's the indoor malls are, and I heard some horror stories from the malls too. So I'm actually glad they closed.
Forever 21 is open and
Macy's
maybe and the stores that have those like you said, the exterior,
the anchor stores. There you go.
Entrance,
the anchor stores. Yeah. The big ones
And
like
there's only,
that.
what, 3?
Yeah, because Nordstrom's closed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's when I went to the mall last, there was probably a little over a third of them were closed. Were not even open. Some, like the Van store was open. Some of the other shoe places were open, but there was a lot of places that weren't, especially on the first floor.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Victoria's Secret isn't open. They're done. So, yep. It's man, you want to talk about taking a chunk out of the economy?
Yeah, but a lot of those are tiny spots, and I did hear, and I'm not going to name the place, only to protect the guilty, but I heard one of the spots in there, that I know somebody that works in one of the stores in there, they were having to go find their own wipes and be paid back for it. Like, what kind of shit is that?
I believe it.
Like,
I believe it because at one point in time it was hard to find anything.
Well, yeah, but even as a corporate, and this isn't a mom and it is a mom and pop place, but it's not. This place that I'm talking about has locations all over the place, and it is a corporate company. Like, that's kind of shitty though, that you're sending hand sanitizer, but you're not providing the wipes, so you expect your employees to go do that, and then nobody's being turned down with a face mask, and I'm not going to jump on that, train, but I mean, you're talking about some small spots, man. Like, some of those stores they're small. Like,
they're tiny. Yeah,
you get 10 people in there, and that's too many.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that was a little off. It's an unsolved mystery. Fire today.
Put that music in.
Okay.
So, Unsolved Mysteries is back now. I don't know have you guys watched it yet?
I watched a few of them.
I didn't even know it was a thing until Vic said something about it.
So I was excited because I always watched the original ones. I was a big fan since I was a kid. I remember watching like the second episode, like when they were only like once a quarter. I'm like, Unsolved Mysteries is on. Oh my god, I loved them. So when it was back on, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna I think I had the weekend off because it was 4th of July weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I watched like 3 of them. The hardest one to watch was the one that was in French because like I had to actually like stop and pay attention to the whole thing and read the subtitles.
I haven't watched that one. I've only seen like I said, maybe 2. And they were whatever Alicia happened to be watching at the time, so I didn't even watch them in order.
Hey, did I hear that like one of the cases that was featured on there is now open again?
Yeah, they've opened up a few of them back up. Like they were exploring what's going on. And I believe the one you're talking about is like, there was this guy who committed suicide. Well, he died. He went missing, and he was found head first in a hole in a building. Now, the building that you'd have to jump off of to do that is not accessible. And he was wearing like flip flops, and he was like had to like crawl on a ledge, like a really like thin ledge on a building. So it's like, and then just the way he fell, the trajectory goes not right. So they're just like, how the hell did this guy die? So that one's reopened again. I thought it was done well. They paid tribute to Robert Stack because they have his image like in the clouds form at the very end where it says Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah,
they have the original music.
Opener music.
They have
What?
They start doing the paranormal stuff. They're not like focused on the paranormal stuff, but they did one episode on UFOs, which I thought was cool. I wish they had more of that, but as this is as successful as it's probably going to be, I'm sure that will happen.
It was mostly missing persons type cases, huh? So
yeah.
far. I did like the fact that they didn't replace Robert Stack. There's no over narrator. It's just the documentary style where, they do the interviews, the people that are they're discussing with the case do the narration for particular pieces and things like that, and the cutscenes, but there's no definitive one person doing all the talking. It's not, you can't replace Robert Stack. It was just too iconic.
Oh no.
That's over with me. I like that. So we'd be like, no, I can't place this dude. Let's do something else.
It's not as creepy as it was when you were a kid and being like, oh, I can't sleep tonight, but it's still definitely, you're like, I think it was harder watching a couple of the episodes because they talk about like the mom losing the kid, and he was a teenager or whatever, but you're like, that it hits closer to home now, I think. And you're like, oh crap, dude, I don't know what the hell I would do if that was my kid, that went missing. I'd have these same reactions, or someone be paying crazy, and It's definitely a different experience watching as adults, watching as a kid or a young teenager.
That's cool. So check it out. I never get time to watch TV, but when I do,
I prefer Dos Equis. Oh wait, never mind.
what's that?
I prefer Dos Equis.
Yeah, I prefer Dos Equis. I don't watch TV, but when I do, I prefer it with Dos Equis. I think it's time for a break.
Hey,
That is.
let's take a break.
You
I'm gonna get me a beer.
Gonna play.
Yeah, let's get more beer. We need more beer.
Fear the beer.
Give me a keg of beer.
So we have a new Star Wars animated series coming up called The Bad Batch.
What the hell? I'm happy for this, to be quite honest. I actually like the Bad Batch. You saw the last episode, Jax? For Clone
no.
Wars? You
No.
haven't seen it yet. That was kind of like my question. That was gonna be my question. But Rick, you certainly did, yes?
I have not.
You have not?
I
Oh
have
my!
not, man.
I'm shocked. How am I the only one right now? Well, I think Dan probably saw it. I'm the only
Yeah,
one
Dan
that saw.
Phoenix, you've talked about it.
So okay, wow, gosh, should we wait for him then?
Explain the concept of the Bad Batch.
So the Bad Batch is a group. It's a group of how could you say, less than desirable but extremely capable clone soldiers or former clone soldiers, or however you want to classify them. But they are awesome. There's a giant guy that will take out anything who's just clumsy, and you've got the smart techie guy that helps you break, get past the surveillance systems or whatever. You've got your leader of the group, the brash, charismatic guy. And I believe there was one more person, Demolitions maybe or something. Excuse me, but they're going to get their own series on Disney Plus. They were a very important and crucial part for the last episodes of the Clone Wars, and I think it's pretty awesome that they're going to get their own animated series. I mean, I'm sure there's other things they could have done. Disney Plus could have did a million other things with Star Wars, but they're choosing to do the Bad Batch. Personally, I don't have a problem with it. I think it's
these clones, they have specific names, right? They aren't just numbered.
Specific. Yeah, no, they have specific names. I don't remember them off the top of my head. I kind of want to.
It wasn't like Rex and people like that. It wasn't.
As far as like a short something short, or
wasn't so one of them isn't like, say, Rex.
No. It's
a whole different group.
Different group, yeah. And in fact, none of these guys, I don't even think they look like Rex. So gets a little. That's where it starts throwing you off. That's why I don't want to call them clones, or.
So they're clones, but they don't look like each other. Just modified test tube babies, I guess you want to say. Modified super soldiers.
You could definitely say that.
So from what I've read, then it's they are part of the clone army, but they were clones that didn't come out right.
Okay, well that makes sense. And there's your Bad Batch name.
Yeah, hence the name Bad Batch makes sense.
Dan, you saw the last episodes of the Clone Wars.
Yeah,
What did you think about the Bad Batch?
I thought it was a cool episode. I could see that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
definitely. Well, it's Star Wars, dude. I'm gonna watch anything that's Star Wars. But I'd have an interest in watching this because that was a pretty cool episode. To see kind of that like recon force, kind of like special agent type things, some different type missions. They can get into some shit. Like I think it'd be kind of cool to watch. Like the A-Team.
Quick answers.
The A-Team.
Quick answers.
I was going to say, so it's the A-Team for Star Wars?
A-Team of
Quick
Star
answers. Rey or the Bad Batch? Just give me an answer. Rey or the Bad Batch? I'm going with the Bad Batch.
Bad Batch.
What, over liking Rey as a character, or like what are you talking about?
Yeah, if you had to pick between Rey or the Bad Batch, who would you pick? I'd pick the Bad Batch. I could do without Rey. Those bullshit lightsaber skills.
She's learning.
Because we
man.
didn't call him
She's
Trevor Rose episode 9.
She learning.
She's
Just for that, I'm gonna give you this.
Ah, there you go. Would you buy that in Alabama or something? Did they
What?
find all those in like a liquor store in Alabama or something? A big old pallet of those?
Really? Oh, I didn't know. I don't know. I didn't hear about that. No,
Yeah, there's a story
That's
about
my original one.
they found a bunch. They found a bunch
Yeah.
of them in like some like BFE grocery store. Like, how the hell did they get these all? They got to do something with them.
Yeah, they donated all.
I'm
their food
surprised
and
it
stuff.
wasn't
They
like
were
in a 99-cent store.
You probably would find them there, 99-cent store.
Disney outlets. There's still a few.
All
of
I
those around.
see is a frozen screen.
That's you, buddy.
Oh, Dan
that
had
is
the
all you, sir.
Coke bottle that was a thermal detonator.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. And that's that story.
Okay, so I don't know a whole lot. I mean, I've read a few things, but like, what happened with Burger Records?
I looked into it probably the most. Maybe UX? I don't know. I went through their feed. Like I saw it and I dove into the comments.
I just read
section.
like what was going on, and I read a Pitchfork article.
Okay. So Burger Records is based out of of LA. Okay. Now apparently there is a store, but apparently the store is not actually directly related to the label. They're kind of run independently. Okay. So the whole speaking out movement we talked about with wrestling before, it's now reached the music industry. And it hit LA bands pretty hard. Okay? But these are all LA bands that like are on like that beach goth fest that the Observatory. Is the Observatory puts that on? Or the Glass House?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, one of them
Observatory.
didn't really answer my question, but okay. Okay. So it's a lot of those type bands that are getting called out for the way that they're doing stuff. So they called out the biggest names on that list that you probably not have heard of, but I know I have because I know kids that are into like indie rock like that are the Growlers, who have played, I think headlined that Goth Beach Fest, and the Buttertones was the name that was thrown out there too for what some of that proved to be untrue with that band, but they're actually in the indie rock scene in LA and in San Diego. The Buttertones are actually a pretty well known band. I've heard that name a lot from a lot of the kids that I've had like in past years. So it's they got called out for the way that they're doing stuff. And it's just, you go to these shows, if they're all ages shows, there's kids there. And I mean that, kids, they're under 18. So if these band members are doing anything, like it hit home because like Burger Records is kind of like, well, Burger Records, first of all, is a cassette. I believe is it still cassette only? Are they a cassette only label?
No,
It's mostly
I don't know if they're
cassette.
cassette only, but they do a lot of cassettes.
They do they were known for doing cassettes. I should put it like that.
Oh, okay.
So even some bands who like had contracted, like they're gonna put out a special cassette of our record. Even some bigger bands that we know of. Does anybody know who Brian Coakley is?
No.
Brian Coakley was in the
Heard the
Cadillac.
name.
He was in the Cadillac Tramps. So
Oh,
he
okay.
was one of the main songwriters in the Cadillac Tramps. He did a compilation with one of his songs for one of his bands on Burger Records. He even put out a statement that says, I don't know any of this. He's like, they reached out to us. We gave them a song. That's about the extent of, the relationship that we have with them. But, this stuff isn't right. So yeah, let them go out and speak out against it. That's basically what they did. But they prided themselves on being the DIY and like, this shit doesn't happen. Well, one of the guys that was accused happens to be like the label co-founder. the guy that's in charge of the label.
Whoops.
So that's how they got involved with it so much, because he was one of the guys that was accused. So yeah, he's stepping down. The other co-founder now is stepping up, and they're bringing in somebody else. They decided that like, we're going to start a label that's just for female artists to make sure that they have their name, out there. It's just that they're even changing the name slightly from actual Burger Records to BGRS Records. Like, yeah, no, they're taking it really seriously.
It's like BRGR, like Burger, but without the vowels.
Yeah.
So have you seen the new article that came out about them recently? That's where I kind of just had caught on. This new that was a female lady that was supposed to be the president of Burger Records.
Yeah.
The new. She's
She
already
was going to be the
down.
interim president. Yeah.
Yeah, she's already stepped down.
Why?
She's just said this. It's too. It's just not. It's just not going to work.
Her intention and the reason they were bringing her in was to look at the record label and see what was workable, what needed to be changed, and if it was too much of a cluster, that the intention was to shut down. She's basically said that it's not going to work and that she's not going to be able to do anything with it.
Yeah.
So she walked away from it.
Because of the situation or because of the record label? Because honestly, it's a small independent record label. Like, that can't be easy to work with to begin with.
Mm-hmm. See, and that's where it's still vague. That's where I'm not 100% positive.
I got out of it that it's everything. It's just, to me, it just seems like it would be everything.
Well, maybe their tax stuff isn't up to date. Like, it could be I'm not saying anything if it's what everybody's going to start automatically thinking it's like, oh no, it's the tone here with the sexism and all that. But it doesn't necessarily have to be, and I'm not saying it may very well be. But if you're running it as a business and you don't have it in order as a business, Dan, you should know this. Like, everything has to be in its place, and if it's not, you'll be like, fuck, I don't want to work with this, because it's just there's so much of a mess, because you're not filing this, and you're not filing this, and
right.
you're not doing, like, it could be something as simple as that. For crying out loud, Asian Man Records is still run out of a garage. It's still run out of a garage. So, and that's one of the
Doctor Strange,
biggest...
before he opened his house, was renting out of his apartment.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, like, it's, I'm sure it's a lot of work. And they'd be in the midst of this. Okay, I understand that. I just understand you walk into a situation and be like, fuck, dude, I can't fix this. It's such a mess. Like, it would take forever to do this, and we're really not turning a profit. Like, it may even be that. There's really no profit here. Like, the shit you're going to have to do to get this up and running is going to cost you more than you're worth. Like, you know what I mean? So, it could be that. It could be the whole, tolerance thing.
Her words exactly were, upon further review, I've informed Burger Records that I no longer believe I'll be able to achieve my intended goals in assuming the leadership role at Burger Records in the current climate.
Okay.
That's the only way she words it.
Okay.
This is a nice way of doing it.
Yeah.
They're fucked. And I ain't dealing with this shit.
It could be either way. It could be like, this is such a mess with all your artists. Because it could be that. Because what they had said was they were going to take all their shit out from artists that were accused. Like, we're going to pull that shit from stores, and we're going to, the money that was made from it, we were going to donate to all this stuff. So, like, it's a big old long diatribe, dude, of stuff that they said that they were going to do. I read it, and I was like, dude, this is a lot. Like, for maybe it might be that. It might be for that small label, dude. You can't afford to do this. All of a sudden, you got, like, no artists, because a bunch of them got accused. Okay, we're done working with them. We're not going to make any more money on their shit because they're kind of canceled. Like, now what? I can
There was
see that.
one guy that even admitted, like, yeah, I took advantage of young girls. It's like, dude, why would you say that? I could understand, admitting to, like, wrongdoing, but I don't know if that's the best way to put it.
Well, you know what this brought flashbacks of, Dan? I was thinking about this. We know, and I'm not going to name the band because I have too much respect for the band, but, and they did nothing wrong. It was a member who got kicked out. But we do know a band who had a member who was doing shit like that and got kicked out. And you and I had interactions with this band member.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Oh, is it with a trace?
Yes. Yeah. It is. No,
I
I have nothing bad to say about the band because it was not the band. It was the member who they didn't know about it either. And once they found out, it was like, no, this guy's gone. He's out of our band. He's using band stuff for this. He's out. Like, we can't, like, we will not do this. I think they informed the authorities as well. Like, they did their part, and this was 10 years ago. Yeah, over 10 years ago. Yeah. Yeah. We walked away from that one real quick. But, like, as soon as all this happened, somebody had asked me something online, and was like, hey, do you know anything about this? And I'm like, oh, I know this. And I was like, oh shit, you know what? We knew a dude that got, like, 10, 12 years ago, we knew a dude who was doing shit like that, and they kicked him out. And we're like, nah, we don't want no part of this. So that was pretty crazy. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, Burger Records is not a huge label, unfortunately. The store does not have anything directly to do with them. So I don't know if that's gonna be around too as well.
This isn't in relation to that, but it's a record label and it surrounds the coronavirus. Did you guys hear about Bridge 9 Records?
No, what happened?
They're the owner of the building where they are occupied sold it, so they got to be out. They got to find another place for their office. Everything is it's got to go. So I don't know they don't even know what they were going to do. I'm sure by now they probably already have a plan. This was maybe like a week or two ago. I saw an article that had said Bridge 9's like offices has to close, but it's not because of any like wrongdoing. It was just, I think it was the owner of the building lost the building. So.
Well, right now, I mean, you could honestly, and I don't mean this to be a good thing, but there's enough spaces that are open that you could pull a short-term lease on a place.
Oh,
house
dude,
the office
leasing managers are willing to work with anybody right now for anything.
Yeah, I mean, did we talk about? I don't know if I talked to you guys about this. Did we talk about the pop-up sanitizer place on Main Street?
No, but I seen it.
No, but I know it.
Yeah, there's a freaking pop-up like
The old
sanitizer
warehouse.
places now went like it took the Spirit Halloween thing. What was Spirit Halloween occupying any tiny little place now is apparently sanitizer places that sell masks and gloves and hand sanitizer. Yeah, well, anyway, so this hand sanitizer place as a pop-up, I mean, that Rick said it's an old warehouse building. And by warehouse, I mean the music store. Nothing has really been there since the music store.
The warehouse.
Yeah. So
The one right across from the old movie theater.
I'm freaking positive if you just needed some space to store a bunch of shit that, for like 2 months until we figured out something that somebody's going to be like, bring it, throw your shit in here. I'll take your rent for 2 months, or whatever it is, maybe a little longer. Maybe work out a deal for open your office there. Who knows? But there's a lot of buildings that are.
Leases.
Yeah. A lot of places do that. A lot of places are doing
I bet you know what? I bet you even right now, you could talk to business owners that are closed and say, like, hey, I need to put my stuff in your store. I know you're closed. Can I do that? They'll be like, yeah.
Lamppost? No, they're open. Lamppost is open.
They're open.
For takeaway, right?
Yeah. Hey, Lamppost is doing that. Remember the penny saver coupons? They'll honor the penny saver coupon. They'll honor the penny saver
always
coupon.
have.
You just mentioned it. Yeah.
They always have,
Even
but you got to
around
call
still?
them.
Yeah.
Oh, the penny saver closed up a long time ago.
Oh yeah, it's been done.
Who's got a copy of the
been about
piece of
5
that?
years.
I don't even remember.
You don't have to. You just got to say, hey man, can I get the $4.99 second pizza? And they're like, yeah.
Yeah, let's buy one pizza, get the second for $4.99.
Oh,
So
crap.
I'm gonna have to remember that because that's actually not a bad deal.
Pizza
And that's good pizza. That's good pizza too. Yeah, that's good.
You
pizza.
end up paying $40 for 2 pizzas, but they're good pizzas.
Yeah, that's a quality pizza.
Yeah.
Hey, we got any more music news?
So
What did you talk about? Did you talk about the Lawrence Arms thing already?
We said the Lawrence Arms just came out with a new album.
yeah, Lawrence Arms just released an album. It's getting a lot of good reviews from a lot of people. We're saying it's well done. Dan, you're the only one who's really listened to it. Yeah, we're gonna throw some of the music into the podcast, but
Yeah,
I've been
from what
meaning to.
heard,
I just haven't got to
pretty
it.
cool. I've heard a few of the songs, probably like 3 or 4 of the songs, just playing it right off of Spotify. So
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
they're pretty cool.
You know who just dropped an album too was Greg Graffin just dropped another solo.
Really?
Oh, did he?
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's called American Legions.
About right. That's about right.
Check that out.
Yeah. So that just dropped too. I've been meaning to check that out literally this week, I believe.
Hey, I'm
wow.
gonna throw a shout out to another podcast. He's way bigger than us because of who he is. But I said it to you guys before, man. The Less Than Jake podcast that Krista makes.
Oh, Krista makes.
oh, yeah.
Fantastic. I've been listening to that too.
Yeah,
I'm a few episodes behind now, but
fantastic
what
episodes.
was it? The last one I listened to was I listened to the Bomb Pops episode. Was the last one I listened to.
Yeah, even that was good, and that's a good band too. Bomb Pops are a pretty good
I
band.
like
That's a
Bomb
pretty
Pops.
good album actually. The Death
And
of
again,
Death.
that's a relatively recent album too.
Yeah, it just came out. You know when it came out? It came out of the outbreak of quarantine. That's when that
Yeah.
album came out. It dropped like the week
Because they were
before.
going to tour for
They
it.
were going to tour for that, and then it got all shit canned. This week he has. You'll get a kick out of this, Xavier. This week he has Angelo Moore is his guest. This
Oh
week.
wow, cool.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's
So
cool.
everybody, Fishbone. Everybody goes, and what they do is just like he picks, somebody, and there's a group online. You can suggest artists to him, and if he knows the artist, he reaches out and says, "Hey, we want you to pick out a song that you wrote, and let's talk about it." So I sent you guys the one with Bill Stevenson. Did you listen to that one, Rick? The Bill Stevenson one?
Dude, I cried half that episode.
Man, I told you it was intense. He had Bill Stevenson on there. Go ahead.
To be completely honest, I always want Mom to listen to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Okay. I could see that. Not to get into too much personal stuff, but I could see that. He had him on there. He had his partner Roger, who was actually one of the most requested people. Was his partner Roger, the bassist and the other singer for Less Than Jake. He had on the guy from Goldfinger, the guy from Bowling for Soup. He had on the producer Anthony Ranieri was on there from Bayside. He had on the guy from who produced Hello Rockview. That was an interesting conversation too. And it's just all it's from songwriting perspective. It's not just a straight up interview. It's from the songwriting perspective. So it's different. It's not like your typical interview. And I know Dan knows this. We always got told a lot when we were interviewing bands that we didn't have the typical interview. There were a lot of bands who told us, like, not in print or not on air, that, like, I really enjoyed this interview, man, because it was literally just us here talking. And most of the time it's the canned, where did you guys start? And they're like, no, this was, like, cool to do, that we're just, a few dudes just sitting here talking. I really like that.
Conversation.
Yeah. We got shouted out a number of times for that, who people were like, this is really cool, man. I really like this format. Rather than just
and that's like one of the compliments we get for the podcast too.
Yeah,
is that we're just like
talking.
Some guys talking.
Yeah, which is just our style, I mean, even like I don't know, it just has always been our style. Like when Dan and I used to do that. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just saying, it helps when you're as close as you are, all of us. It's not like we're two or four hosts all kind of just coming together, or just some random dudes like linking up.
Well, even when we were interviewing bands, I mean, I know we would go in with like maybe a couple questions, like I want to ask about this, and the rest of it. Do you have anything else? No, we'll just let it go where it goes. Like that was our answer. We're like, no, we have like 3 or 4 questions, and then we're just gonna let it go where it goes. And then when I was doing the education one too, I was like, do you have any questions? I'm like, no. Why? Because I don't think like that. I'm like gonna let them do a little bit of talking, and then I'll find something to ask them, because it just becomes a conversation more than an actual interview. And I think people. Right. I think people like that more, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I think that's it on the music news. Everything is kind of just pushed off still and canceled. I heard Jericho. I think even the cruise, Jericho's Rock and Wrestle. Did he push it back, or did he cancel it?
I don't know.
I saw something. I think he pushed it back because it was supposed to be in February, but I think it's pushed. I think it's pushed back. So that's just. Hey, it's just the way that it is right now. That's fine. People are starting to get into studios again and make some music. So I've seen a lot of local ska bands in studio kind of doing, some stuff. And there are people who are definitely recording. Because you can. If you've ever been in a recording studio, it's isolated anyway. You record stuff in different rooms for the most part because you have your amps in there and, the sound has to be tweaked. So it is a very social distance process to begin with. Like that's kind of, just as long as you're not sharing mics or anything, and everything gets disinfected afterwards, you're fine. Because it's not, it's, I've been in several different recording studios and everything's always, it's separate. So that's kind of cool that they can still kind of make and come out with music. Because this is gonna, who knows when we're gonna go to a concert again. Although, hey Dash, did you hear this? Did you hear freaking Smash Mouth is gonna do a concert?
That makes sense.
Smash Mouth
just did one.
Did they?
Yeah.
Where?
One of those drive-in concerts.
No, this is full on like.
Off my head, but...
This is like straight up like no social distancing. It's Smash Mouth, Trapped, and Buckcherry. 3 bands that apparently need their freaking money.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not doing a drive-through style?
No,
drive-in
dude.
style?
Nope. Hold on, let me find the news.
An FU concert.
It's a festival for a motorcycle rally. 50% for the multi-day festival, dude.
50 what?
50% attendance.
Oh.
Organizers are letting attendees decide if they want to wear face masks or socially distance from others. Although they are providing the sanitary stuff that they need.
That's cool. Where's that going to be at?
I will find that out right now.
It doesn't matter. That's funny.
South Dakota, baby.
Of course. Middle of fucking nowhere.
That's why.
Because nobody's going to bother them.
Yeah.
You just got to drive. You just got to go out to South Dakota, or at least all those people that are out there are going to be all jazzed about it.
I drove by Silver Lakes yesterday in Norco, or Eastvale technically. And they had that big ass screen set up for the movies last night because they're showing those. They're doing I think they were showing. I don't know what they were showing last night, but I think they were showing like Back to the Future and La Bamba and shit like that. But the big ass inflatable screen, like you know that they have the big old freaking thing they used to use for to show you the band times for Warped.
Yeah.
It was like one of those.
Yeah.
On a screen, so it was. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's pretty cool. So you can see some throwbacks. Speaking of Back to the Future, it's what 35 years was the beginning of the month. 35 years of that movie.
Oh, what is it?
Yeah.
Van Buren's open now. The drive-in.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is.
And they're doing. I almost want to go because they're showing the Goonies.
Oh really?
Like, dude, I'd pay $20 for the family to go see Goonies in the drive-in. But we still got to sit in the car. I mean, that's the part that throws me off. Is if I could do it, and I don't want to do it yet, but if I could do it, the old school way, pull up the back hatch of the Flex and, get some lawn chairs and hang out there, I would totally do it like that. But
I think you
sitting in the car the entire time?
I think you can.
No, you're not supposed to.
Well,
though.
somebody said they were in the back
cars.
of the truck, dude. Somebody said I saw a post about it in one of these groups, and somebody said they were hanging in the back of the truck. I'm not advocating it at all, but I did hear that, so I don't know. They said no, we did it, and no one bothered us. There were a few people doing it, so I don't know. No,
The city of Ontario is doing it at the airport.
Oh yeah, I did hear that.
They're
That's
showing
kinda
up. They have one at whatchamacallit, Napoleon Dynamite. It's going to be at the end of the month. I haven't gone yet. I just I just don't want to leave the house really. I mean, and I just cleaned the fuck out of my car inside and out, so I'm like, I don't want to fuck this shit up.
Food all over the place, crumbs,
Exactly.
French fries.
And sitting in the car is, I mean, I agree with Rick. It needs to be like, I'm pulling the truck backwards. You can sit in the back of the truck. We'll throw some blankets and pillows back there, a couple of chairs.
I just hotbox my car.
But sitting in the actual cars, I don't find that comfortable, especially as the driver. They freaking wheel in front of you. So it's not my idea.
And I've done that. I've done that at UCR before when they would get the big inflatable and they did drive-ins. I remember doing a date with Alicia like that, and it was not comfortable. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't see that as
like we didn't watch the second movie because it wasn't done by the first.
I gotta go.
All right, is it break time? I could use the Lee Custom.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's take a break and we'll come back with sports.
There is no past. There is no future. Now free to live at last. No more courage at my fingertips. I sit and wait for the nothingness. All aboard, your fate is departing. Last train ever, well it's now or never. Rain and fireworks above the lake. Familiar skies of a native place. Revel in the summer aftertaste. My final act was to disintegrate. There is no past. The future has been cast. Now I'm free to live at last. Search for truth in a coffee cup, but inspiration is an idle drug. A quiet storm is raging in my mind, hurricane of my own design. I crackle like a radio wave, remote status in a western state. Listen closely, some horsemen are calling. lay back, the night sky is falling. There is no past, the future has been cast. Now I'm free to live at last. Now I'm free to live at last. Now I'm free to live at last.
All right, in what had to be the worst pay-per-view that I've seen recently, Rey Mysterio lost an eye.
I slept through like.
Oh
half
my
of that.
God! What have they done?
Oh my God!
That was shit.
Yes.
The whole thing was shit. The whole pay-per-view.
You know, I enjoy the tables. I enjoy the tables match.
The which one?
The tables match. I enjoyed that.
Is that
Yeah,
with
that
the
might have been.
New
Well,
Day?
either them or the
New
women.
Day and
Yeah.
Cesaro.
It was not a
Yeah,
strong.
that one was a good one.
Yeah.
Not a strong pay-per-view though. You're correct. Yes.
No,
Oh,
I,
no,
dude,
no.
I do not have such an interest in the two top performers in the main event match. I didn't even watch it. I started to, and I was like, I can't get into this because I don't care about either one of these fools. So I never did
swamp
watch the
fight?
main event. The what?
In the swamp fight?
Yeah, I didn't watch it because I don't have an interest in either character. So I'm like, I'm not into this. I didn't watch it. Was it any good?
It was all right. It wasn't one of the better. It wasn't as good as the John Cena Bray Wyatt match,
Yeah, that was interesting.
but it was better than the House of Horrors match
the house
with
of...
Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt.
Oh,
It was better than that.
oh man, I'm not into those guys. This was,
It wasn't the Boneyard match. It wasn't that, but it was entertaining.
I just don't have an interest in the characters. But the eye thing, like I told you guys, in the group chat, it was said, did he really lose an eye? No, I know he really fucking lost an eye, dude. The shot was like, I can show you the shot, and I know this is an audio podcast, but the shot was clear on like this, and you can see his hand down in front, like, there's not even anywhere near the freaking corner. I was like, why would you go to that shot when you're trying to sell this as he lost his eye? Then they go to that fake ass eyeball and Seth Rollins throwing up. I was like, this is freaking stupid. This is dumb. The Warrior throwing up with that syrup of Ipecac or whatever that shit was way better than this shit in the 80s, dude. Because this was just like, I was like, this is freaking stupid. Where do you go with this? How do you pull this off? And I was like, you're really going to do that? Really? Really? I guess. Okay. You could just, I don't know. It was not.
It doesn't feel like it's progressed any part of the storylines or anything like that. It's just, it was a way to write off Rey Mysterio if he doesn't resign.
Yeah. Man, their stuff right now, I'm having a hard time watching WWE. A hard time watching it. I can't sit through it. There's nothing that's compelling. You get somebody going on a roll, and then they're gone for a month, either by choice or they get sick, to be honest. And there's reports of a few guys coming down with stuff and having to be out for, a little while. Where's Otis been? Otis was like, you look forward to see what Otis was doing. He ain't been seen in a month. He's the Money in the Bank winner.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, it's just not, I don't know. AEW is pulling off a better time of it than they are. I find myself watching AEW.
I think I'm burned out a little bit in general.
Yeah.
I need the crowd reaction, and the Performance Center crowd doesn't cut it for me. The wrestlers in AEW do a little bit better, but it's getting hard to watch without having that reaction.
I heard USA is not happy with the WWE right now because of the
neither
ratings.
is Fox.
Their ratings are tanking, dude. But like, what can you do? What's the solution? You can say, oh, we need better storylines. Yeah, but you're so limited in the roster. You keep seeing the same people over and over. Yeah, because some don't want to work, or you're not pushing those people to be stars. It's just like, I think it's because your biggest stars, they're not working. So when you don't have those big stars to put over the younger guys, it just doesn't work.
B Squad's not handling it.
The B Squad is not handling it, man. This like that movie, The Replacements, man. It's like that movie, The Replacements. But everything is just, it's not going on. It's a hard watch. SmackDown is sitting on my DVR. I'll probably scroll through it, but it's not easy to watch right now. There's nothing compelling that's going on. There's a few things that are like, this is kind of good, but no. I hopefully I'll keep up on the pay-per-views for sure. Hopefully we can at least see some more cinematic stuff that's pretty decent. And then some of the matches you do get. This one was weak. I don't know why, but some of the other matches we've gotten from other ones have been like pretty good matches. The women are always strong. Women always go there. They're killing it.
A lot of it comes down to the idea that they're putting together these pay-per-views in 5 days, or 6 days from Monday to Sunday, really for the most part, because ratings are tanking so much and the roster's so limited that they're pushing matches that are pay-per-view caliber onto the regular show. Like that bar fight should have been a pay-per-view match. And that was probably and that was decent.
That's one of the ones I'll watch it was on SmackDown, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the ones I'll watch for SmackDown, but look at who you got too. You got two guys who have been around the company for almost near 20 years. At least 10 or 15 years that both those guys have been around the company. So you already know that they're, for the most part, they're going to deliver no matter who they're in there with. It just so happens they're working each other. So I don't know. It's just kind of weird. I did hear a report that Sheamus was sick. That's why you didn't see him for a while. What I heard too. Yeah, he had gotten a positive test and stayed off of TV for a few weeks to get the clearance.
Apollo Crews too. That's why Apollo Crews.
That's why he dropped the belt. Yeah, I did hear those were the blood test though. Both those guys didn't test with the swab test. They tested with the blood test. And they said that's why. So they're probably okay, but they were told quarantine anyway, just to be sure that they're both actually fine. But it's like quarantine anyway. So last week, was it last week? Week before, I had sent you guys the link to Joey Ryan, who opened his mouth.
Finally started coming back with his.
He said some. Oh, allow me to retort. He said. Did you guys watch it?
No,
I watched most of it, but I couldn't finish it.
Just because.
I'm sorry, dude. I can't believe it. A lot of it. There's still a pattern and there's still a trend to everything he's doing where he's interacting with these women. He's opening up to them about his mental illness. And then they get to a point and he says, okay, I'll stop. And then his reply to everything is, I don't want to hurt our friendship. Let's not talk about this again. So there's still that cyclical pattern there that it kind of made me sick to my stomach.
It's hard to take it because a lot of people were like, okay, maybe he didn't do the things he was technically accused of, but the dude has issues. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, okay, it's going to be a while before you see him back, but in this business, time heals all wounds. So, in a few years, you're going to see shit up and running again. Probably some people who won't work with him or places he won't get hired, but
here's where I find that questionable. He, in 2017, when Sexy Star came out and she was legitimately hurting people, he's one of the people who spoke up and said, your job is to protect us. We need to feel safe around you. His name at this point, people are not going to feel safe around him. And if you can't do that, you shouldn't be in this business. And that's pretty much what he said outright to Sexy Star. So now it's turned on him.
Ain't that some shit when stuff like that always happens?
Oh, I know, huh?
It's called karma.
It is. Oh my gosh.
That's what that shit is.
Kama Mustafa?
No, all I do is he just smokes weed in Las Vegas. That's all he do.
With his hopes.
And goes to strip clubs.
No, he's been married a long time. He married to a white lady. He's been married a long time. Yeah, he was married through all that. He was married through all that with the hoe train and all that. He was married to her. So, good for him. Yeah, I don't know. Well, we will see. It's too bad about bar wrestling, though.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I hope somebody steps up to say, I can pull this off.
We need Hood Slam down here now.
Maybe they will. There's a market.
Maybe they'll do Hood Slam South.
There's a market in Southern California, man.
Hey, man, honestly, who needs to do it? Step up and do it is Watts.
Yeah, maybe he will.
If Watts could pull that off, man, he's such an awesome human being.
Yeah, we talked about Watts before. So we'll see. There's a lot of guys from those championship wrestling stuff who are a lot names locally and can, when you think about it, they got a lot of contacts. So it just depends. You got the money to front some of the stuff and be ready to put it right back into what's going on, or get a couple people with you, to join in.
Even Yuma, man.
What's that?
If Yuma and Watts pull together, they could probably do great things.
Yeah, there's a few. Yeah, well, Yuma was doing all the booking and stuff, wasn't he, over there anyway?
I believe he was.
Yeah, so there's some stuff there that they can work out.
Hey, the Undertaker's retired. He could do it, and he's got the
There
money.
you go.
Yeah, he ain't gonna want no part of that.
You're marking.
Wants to live at home. Hey, you guys didn't end up buying one of those cardboard cutouts?
Hell no.
Dude, I thought about it. Pretty
$250?
heavily.
Well, how much was it?
$250, and I can't even go to a game and have a hot dog and a beer.
Yeah, but they give you the cardboard cutout.
And
They mail it back to you?
at the end of the season, they mail it back to you. It's considered an official souvenir or official part
Game
of
use.
Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, it's pretty considered game
It's
use.
game use. It's game used. And then, did you see what is it? Who hit the home run and knocked the head off yesterday?
Someone got their head
Muncie?
knocked off?
No, it wasn't Muncie. It was I can't remember off the top of my head. Anyway, they knocked the head off.
That's
They
hilarious.
hit a home run. They knocked the head off. So the guy tweets the Dodgers, and it's and he's like, "So do I get the ball?" They're like, "DM us, we'll hook you up."
Oakland is doing that. Oakland was promoting
Yeah.
that. Oakland was saying if your thing gets hit by a foul ball or whatever, we'll give you the ball.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. That was a little bit more of an incentive to pay for
Incentive, yeah.
Yeah, to
There
pay
you
for
go.
it. Be like, I got a chance to get it. Like, all right, that's kind of cool.
Like
Well,
a
all
lot
the money was going to charity too, because it was going to the Dodgers
Exactly.
Foundation. So like, I could see that. And it's it's a trip. And first of all, we got baseball back. It's I mean, I watched a couple games. When you watch the game, you watch the game. I don't think it's anything crazy. It's a little weird to see the cardboard cutouts to teams that have them. And at first, when I watched my first game, I was like, "Is that ambient noise?" It is ambient noise.
Yeah.
They have that like low, like this. If you go to a game and there's nothing going on at the time, in between pitches or whatever, you know that noise, that low, that dull kind of roar, almost like white
The
noise.
chatter of the
Just
crowd.
the chatter of
almost
the
is
crowd.
what you would say.
Know it. Like, you'll be like, oh, dude, that's what
Yeah.
it is. And you hear it in some of the reactions and stuff. I thought was like, oh, okay. It's even like, I complained about it when it was wrestling, because I think it was done bad. But for this, it just kind of worked. I don't know, because it was just there. And I do understand that they're actually pumping that into the stadium.
Mhm.
They're actually pumping that into the stadium. So that's what the players hear too, which is kind of cool. They asked Dave Roberts, like, what was it like to play with no fans? And he was like, yeah, we played. He's like, once you actually get playing, it's like you're playing baseball. He's like, but I do miss the, let's go Dodgers. He's like, I miss that, but playing the game is playing the game. That seems like it's normal. So yeah, it did.
Right.
Yeah, I enjoyed the games that I watched. I enjoyed. I watch out for those, like new little rules. You still see people breaking I'm not supposed to go do this. You're still breaking that shit, but whatever.
You see people wanting a high five.
Yeah. You see, well, yeah, because it's
Yeah.
such a piece of what you're doing. I'm still waiting to see. I haven't caught it 100% yet, but I'm still waiting for a pitcher to dig out the rag out of their back pocket and wet it instead of licking their hands. But I haven't really noticed anybody licking their hands. And then I know in the exhibition games were weird because I watched the Angels Dodgers one and they finished the game. They finished the bottom of the ninth, which didn't need to be done. It was mostly like just get the practice in because we haven't, get the practice in against this. And there were a couple of games that weren't our teams, but they went to that international tiebreaker. I think mostly to just kind of pull it off and see how it would work. Like, because it's just exhibition game anyway, but I've seen that kind of stuff. So it's going to be interesting season. But it's baseball. I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching it. I didn't catch actually the game was going on today. The Angel game was going on
the Angels
today.
lost.
Yeah. So everybody got back in their groove. We say that every year. I've been saying that for years, but we'll get it, and it's at least something to do that's like, okay, I'm familiar with this. It doesn't really seem that much different than what we're used to, so I can enjoy that. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, to circle back to a couple of those things, I did watch an Angel Dodger game too, and that was funny that Kenley Jansen wanted the runner on second.
Mhm.
With after they'd done the double play, he's like, no, put someone on second and it's one out. Like he was like making the call. It's one out, runner on second. They ended up playing this as a second out anyway, but it's just funny to see that whole part of the exhibition. We're like, no, we're just gonna mess around. It's like a simulated game.
Yeah, that's what
we're
it
gonna
seemed
do
like.
that.
It was like we're just gonna take these different scenarios and let's do this. Almost like, and you get that when you play league games where it's like, okay, the game is over. Hey, you want to finish this? Let me get another. Or just when you scrimmage other teams, yeah, man, take another bat, go 6 outs. Just so you get the practice in. So that's what it seemed like. It was kind of crazy. Hey, so I did hear go ahead.
The other thing to circle back on, it was Will Smith that hit the home run. Not Wild Wild West Will Smith, but
he didn't get into an
Dodger player Will
entanglement
Smith,
with the ball, with the baseball. No entanglement with the baseball.
he's the one who hit the home run that the fan's head got knocked off of.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It was Will Smith.
What is the story with the Blue Jays? I did hear they don't have a stadium, but I didn't really dig into why. Is it because it's across the border?
Okay. Yeah, okay, so the Canadian government basically said, like, if you're going to go to the United States back and forth, we don't want, like, people coming into this, back and forth like that. So, if you're going to play baseball, you stay in the United States. So, as of 2 days ago when I wrote this, they're not without their home. So they're like, okay, so do they play on the road the whole time? There's been offers like Hartford, Connecticut said, like, hey, you could play here. I also heard Buffalo said, yeah, you could play here. They could practically use any stadium because they're all the same dimensions roughly. I mean, yeah, there's like a little like here and there that's weird, but like you could use a minor league stadium, you could use a college stadium, you could use a high school stadium if you have to.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. You could use Rancho Cucamonga technically.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be it'll tie into though if they do settle, it'll tie into what are they, the AL? Are they the Central or the East?
I believe they're the East.
So they'll have to get something within driving distance of that more than likely. Since that's the way the season is being played. It's only playing your division and the division in the opposite league that matches yours.
Yeah, that's why they're looking for Hartford and Buffalo.
Yeah, those make sense.
So they could technically even play at the other stadiums when they play games, and it's just like, well, you know what? You could play in the same stadium for multiple games and just be like, okay, but we're just not in the correct dugout.
You're the home team.
Yeah, you're the home team. Yeah,
Technically.
you happen to bat second. You know what I mean? What's the difference? Yeah. Like, so I'm sure there's things that they can work out, but yeah, I figured it had to do something with the border. But that kind of sucks at the same time too, because you're talking about a limited number of people. But I mean, I understand it at the same time.
Right.
That's why there's a bunch of, we just talked about wrestlers. That's why there's a bunch of them not there because they can't cross the border.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To work. Bobby Roode.
Mm. So one thing I was disappointed about this year is the All-Star Game is going to be in LA. And
yeah.
I had thought about it and I held off on it last year. We were talking to my buddy at work, George, and we had considered getting, trying to look into tickets or at least the fan fest, the interacting actions outside of it or something. And, well, we got another chance. It's getting pushed back next year till 2022 or 2021.
2022.
2022.
They're gonna still have it in Atlanta next year because they've already promised it and they already got their wheels set in motion for that. So there's like, we don't have anybody for 2022. We'll do it next year.
There we go.
That might be the same year we get WrestleMania too.
Yeah, the same year we might get the Olympics.
I thought that was 2024.
Oh, did they move it to 2024?
Isn't 2022 a Winter Olympics?
Oh, I was talking about WrestleMania.
That's true, yeah. So, yeah, 2021 they're going to have the Olympics in Japan, but I think it's going to be in the winter. But they said if we can't pull it off again, we're just not going to have the Olympics. The Olympics for this year have been canceled because right now would have been like Olympic season.
Yeah, we'd be watching that too. The Winter Olympics don't need to be held in LA, dude.
No, I don't think so.
No, you got to get somewhere else.
There's no fucking snow.
No, it doesn't snow in California. Not like you need. Not like
No artificial snow.
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine up in Big Bear. Come on. That
We'll
ain't
get
gonna
12
happen.
inches of snow.
Right. Oh, what, football.
All changed, man.
Hey,
It's all
football.
changed.
Football
Oh,
hasn't
God, that
made an
fucking shit
announcement yet,
fucking
have they?
sucks.
Well, yeah.
What was
Okay,
that?
hold on. That's temporary, but hold on. They haven't made an announcement about football yet, have they?
Not an
They
official
were
announcement.
supposed to
It's like
report.
Preseason's canceled. That's the only thing that's been announced.
Okay. So we got no preseason,
When
but
is
nothing for
the-
the actual season.
Yeah, nothing yet for the season, but preseason has been canceled.
You think they'll do something like they did with baseball and basketball?
It's a good question.
Sponsorship money, baby.
It's a lot of money leaving on the floor.
TV money. I mean, that's why we have this worked out. There's a lot of money wrapped up in the TV deals and all that kind of shit. Wouldn't surprise me if you just take your team, decide how many you want on a squad, on a team, and that's who you take. And that's a weekly thing. So that's a bonus actually for football, is that it's only played once a week. So, you know,
the last
go ahead.
the last I heard about football was, I read about the fans in stadium that they were going to limit the people in the stadium, and Mark Davis was pissed off. He's like, I've already sold out my stadium for all the games this year, and goes, you want to move the black hole? I don't want to do that. He was like the one who consented. Like, I want to play in a full stadium as possible, and he was a one only person to hold out. He's like, I've already sold out my stadium, so go fuck yourself because this is my money.
Yeah, but I was gonna say you can. I mean, you're only looking at a game a week like that, but on the list of where that sport ranks, it's one of the most dangerous ones because of how close you are to other people. I mean, even like, did you guys hear about CIF? What CIF is doing, or no?
No.
CIF?
Yeah, for high school sports. They took 3 seasons of high school sports and condensed it to 2, is what they did. Nothing starts any kind of practice until December, and that's if local conditions allow. So if things are still bad,
Oh, wow.
you won't get a season. So there's still, it's up to the local areas to determine their schedules because it is such a limited thing, and then to figure out some of the other logistics that they have to deal with, including it is temperature checks and evaluations of your players and stuff like that. So it's going to be different. That's going to cause a problem with the multi-sport athletes. That's left up to coaches to decide what they want to do. But again, nothing is allowed until December, if even at all.
Wow.
And even that's saying, like, no one has said anything about, okay, the kids can play. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to play to a stadium of people or have people in the audience. So, I mean, obviously, high school football is a big thing. I can't see them letting fans in. I can't see them letting fans into a football game. Parents, maybe, because you can, if it says, oh, everybody only gets, 4 tickets or whatever, you can bring 4 people to watch you play, and it's like only if you have in the ticket there. But I can't see a regular or normal high school football game. Everybody rolls up, with their pizza box or Subway, and that's not going to happen, dude. There's no way that's going to happen.
Well, honestly, I don't think they're going to have schools open till at least November or January. To be honest with you, schools, I don't see schools having in-person learning till at least January.
Yeah, but this is different than in-person learning because you can distance everybody and have practice in a way that is safer than it would be normally because you just don't have the number of people there. School itself, no, that's too many people in one spot. But, and again, that's why I brought that up, because there's certain sports that are they're higher risk than other sports. You can play tennis. What's the risk in tennis? Singles or doubles, really. You can play tennis, What's really the risk in swimming? It's not as big. It's just like that. There's charts out of, like, the different sports and how much of the risk they are, and football is definitely at the top. Football and volleyball, actually, is another one that's like how they play, it's higher risk on the other end. Cross country,
I would imagine
wrestling.
wrestling,
on that
wrestling's
list
on this
too.
too. Yeah, but cross country and track and all that are they're really low on the risk factors. So it's gonna be an interesting year. So we I don't know, we'll see. But that's gonna translate to pro sports too. When is it safe to do so, and how much will you ensure that it's safe? I still think if you can limit stuff and you only have a game a week, okay, these guys, play for a week and you can keep an eye on everybody because you got a week in between stuff. So that's a pretty good indicator of. It's not that 2 weeks, but it's a pretty good indicator of, okay, this might happen, this might not happen. I don't know. It's weird. I mean, I hope so, but we'll see. I don't remember where basketball ranked on the list. I don't think it's as high as football, but it's got to be higher than baseball. Because baseball's real low risk. Or it's like medium, as I think is how they termed it. As a high school sport, anyway. Anything else we got on this list, man? Oh, yeah, we never actually talked about it. We never actually the big one. Go for it. We're talking football.
So the Washington the Washington, D.C. Football Club has changed their name to be determined. So they've dropped the Redskin name after 80-some years, 70-some years.
So they still haven't
the
found a
time,
name
right?
for it yet then.
No.
They haven't announced a name yet.
They're
So it's not
planning
gonna
on
be-
taking the time to make a good decision as opposed to rushing into something this season.
Gotcha.
So
But
for
I've
this year, they'll be the Washington Football Club or whatever. And then they'll maintain the colors. But from what I read, the number on the jersey will also be on the helmet. So you won't have the Redskins logo on the helmet.
Yeah, anywhere it said where Redskins will be, it'll be changed to Washington, too.
Yeah.
And I've heard a few things like names tossed around. I heard the Red Tails, which was the Muskogee Airmen's. They had a red tail on there, so that was one of them.
That's a pretty good movie, too.
Native American group suggested the Native American group suggested the Code Talkers. That way you could honor Native Americans and have a proper name. And if you don't know who the Code Talkers were, they're a group of Navajo people who their language was never written down, so they would speak their native tongues, like on communicating in Japan during the war, so they could nobody could break their code. They're like, well, what language are they speaking? It's never been written down.
And it never got broken either.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, give them time to get it right. Now's the time to do that.
Actually, I heard too, and I don't know, I haven't done any research on it though, that Cleveland is now in talks with Native American tribes and seeing what to do in terms of their name too.
Yeah, Brian, shout out to Brian Klaus. I was talking to Brian this morning, and he was saying that they were talking about some like old school baseball team, the Spiders. They were talking about bringing back the name to Cleveland Spiders or something like that.
Wow.
So that'd be pretty interesting. It's a crazy time.
That it is, man.
What about Atlanta?
I know they took the Chief Wahoo. Atlanta's, they haven't said anything official, but I know like with Cleveland, like last year was the last year they're going to have the Chief Wahoo on their hats. Now it's just going to change to a C.
And we had mentioned that, I believe, in a previous podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, now's the time to get all that. If you're going to do it, now's the time to get all that stuff done. It's just, with all the, we didn't talk about this and, but, now when they're playing the national anthem for baseball, a lot of players are taking a knee, including whole teams. They have whole teams that are taking a knee. Well, your boy, Mookie, there went on, and was talking about it, saying that did he say he didn't really understand it at first? And said that something like, but I learned. I had to learn what this was, and this is basically the right thing to do. That's what he said. I'm paraphrasing him, but wasn't it something like that? I saw his post-game interview. He was talking about something like that.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, so I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on that either. I haven't read that.
Yeah, no, I saw a piece of it where I think he did say that, where it was just, like I said, that he didn't do it at first. Not that he didn't agree with it, but that he didn't do it, and now he sees it as his time to do it. And he said, I don't see it as respecting the flag. His father's a veteran, so he's like, it's not even disrespecting that. It's recognizing, you know, everything else. And his words, not mine, but you know, he had definitely had a reason for doing it. A couple of his when he did it, oh man, I can't remember who it was on your team, but there were the two standing next to him.
It was Bellinger.
Bellinger was one of them, and I can't remember.
Bellinger and Muncie.
Yeah, they put their hand on
Max
his.
Muncie was the other one.
Yeah, on his shoulder, just you know.
I posted the image. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're just like, okay, we understand you. We're in solidarity with you here. And then you've got players who don't do it, you know, for their reasons. I think was it on the Giants? I can't remember who it was. Had a member who didn't do it, and he just basically he said religion, which is, you know, that's up to him. He's all, I can't see this as a not the movement, but more the not for the flag as a Christian or whatever he was saying. So, you know, no one. What I like is that no one's giving anybody a hard time. It's like, you have your reason for doing this. Either way,
Yeah.
You don't want to do this, that's fine. We respect you for not doing it. If you're going to do this, okay, we respect you for doing this, and that's the way it kind of should be. You know, but times have changed in a couple of years.
And I remember being a teenager and not saying the Pledge of Allegiance because, for religious, I said, no, it's a false idol. That was my thing. I go, I can't. It's against my religion. What? Because it's a false idol.
I had a sub one
You
time
sound like
that
those
did
people
like.
who knock on my door.
I had a sub one time that
Ask
didn't
if you have a few
realize.
minutes to talk about the Lord.
Yeah, he didn't figure out why I had Che Guevara on his shirt. I had a Rage Against the Machine shirt on, and he was like, "Do you know who that guy is?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm Cuban. That's nice for you." That guy's an enemy to my country. Okay, I don't see it that way, but okay. All right, man. Anything else we got? Are we ready to close this down?
Yeah, we're ready to close this down, but quick shout out to Stone Brewing and the FML, which is a Fair Movie Lions double IPA.
Oh, I thought it was.
I've
Fuck
been
My
enjoying
Life.
this during this podcast. Yeah, that's what I think it really means. This year has been a really fuck my life.
Yeah.
Like I was telling Dan earlier, we should be in fucking Mexico right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
There's a time and a place,
And-
man. There's a time and a place. And
And I'm always drinking local, so I'm still enjoying my Route 30 here. It's the Raztastic. It's a Berlinger Weiss with raspberry.
Rick's drinking local because he's drinking at his house. That's why he's drinking local.
Hey, man, I can literally pull up my car to the side of this brewery, and they hand me my beer to my car, so I don't even have to get out. So
That's pretty cool.
no
I
complaints.
It's called the
I just go
wino.
one-stop
Rick.
shopping and I
Wino.
just go to one-stop shopping. I go Stone because I go to
Mhm.
Stater Brothers.
Yeah.
In the heartland, Stater Brothers. Shout out to my Uncle Craig, who's been at Stater Brothers for like 45 years.
Has it been that long?
Dang, man.
It's before you were born. You're old.
No, it's not been quite that long, but I know it's been like 40 years.
It's been pretty close. I think it was around 80, yeah.
Well, it's getting there then. Hey, did you see that meme that said, right now, 2020 is as far away from 1980 as 1980 is from 1940? Just think about that one.
It's called math.
Yeah,
called
but
math.
you're like, oh, hell, it's been a long time. I'm getting old.
Well, listen to this. I was talking to my friend Zach, who works at Amoeba, and I was telling him, dude, I go, do you realize, like, the music I listened to in high school is as far away as Sgt. Pepper was when I was in high school? Sgt. Pepper was about 23 years old. Check Your Head is on like 26, 27 years old. I'm like, fuck, I'm old.
He still works at
Well, you know,
Amoeba?
Yeah. Well, not right now, but
well, that's like I tell my kids when we're doing like spirit days and things in class. I go, you know, or I'll tell the staff, I go, you know, when we were kids, it was 50s Day was the big day. 50s Day, 50s Day, 50s Day. We're further away from 80s Day, which is the big one now, than we were from 50s Day when we were kids.
You guys are old.
Thanks, big brother.
All right, man.
I've acknowledged that I'm old.
Well, yeah, that's fine. That is what it is.
Yeah.
We're old. What you gonna do? All right, man. That's been another episode. Rick's got the shout outs now, apparently, every time on social distancing episodes, because we got to get a real clean quality one that we can use over and over still.
Social distancing media.
Yeah.
Thanks again for listening. If you want to contact us, if you're a band that has music, if you are a director and want to share a short film, if you have books, anything you want to share and you want us to talk about or review, you can email us at exocast@yahoo.com. We're on Instagram as exoculture. We're on Facebook as exocult, and on Twitter as exocultcast. You can find Extraordinary Culture Podcast on iHeartRadio, Podomatic, iTunes, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, and on YouTube. You can even ask your smart home device to play the Extraordinary Culture Podcast. See you next time.